Well, people, I want to speak on this here. I want to speak on this here because internationally, America has consistently had a boogeyman. And if you keep on poking the bear, at some point, there will be a revenge. And so I want to get back into the video that I did earlier in relation to Dick Cheney. His funeral will be on Joe Biden's birthday. And I want to ask you something. Do you think all the stories that we have seen over the last few years about mass, that there is a tie-in? I can show you better than I can tell you, so let's begin. He's gonna be at Washington National Cathedral. Protestant Episcopal Cathedral. Interesting. People, this is mind-blowing. 9/29/1990 is when this building was completed. 35 years ago. Do you know who the 35th president was? Dick Cheney will be laid to rest. The funeral will be at Protestant Episcopal Cathedral Foundation. It was founded 9/29/1990, 35 years ago. Dick Cheney. JFK. And I informed you guys, I woke up at 1:08. So Dick Cheney will be here. And the place is 35 years old, just like JFK was the 35th president. We just celebrated the 108th birthday of JFK on May 29th. But this date here will blow your mind, 9/29/1990. All this is Catholic, is it not? JFK receipts, 35th president. 9/29/1990, 11/20/1942 is when Joe Biden was born. The difference is 47 years and 313. This is the story that was untold until now. The place where Dick Cheney will have his funeral services. They completed that cathedral on 9/29/1990. Joe Biden's birthday is 11/20/1942. That's 47 years, that's Trump. And what is 313? Suppose I told you Pope Francis became the Pope on 313. The story was not told until tonight. I know exactly why they're having his funeral. So the numbers come out to 47 Trump, and former Pope Francis became Pope on 313. See how the numbers match up? Now let's go a little bit further, because I want to show you another connection. Then we're going to get into this revenge thing. The chat for the decode, we got to give praise. I might be worn out, but I'm going to give him his praise, all right? It is what it is. Look, 9/29/1999, 9/29/1990, the cathedral for Dick Cheney. 12/17/2025 would have been the next birthday of Pope Francis. The difference is 35 years and 79 days. Want to see receipts? 1217. Pope Francis, born. It's deep, y'all. So 12/17/2025 would have been the next. So when you look at Pope Francis' birthday versus 9/29, the place, the cathedral where Dick Cheney would be laid to rest, 35, the cathedral is 35 years old. JFK was the 35th president, and Trump is 39 years old. Why are these numbers coming out like this? Now let's let go of this first video I just did already. Let's go into this, because here was a mass shooting at Annunciation School. Watch this.
To those that have experienced loss, I'm so deeply sorry. We're going to be with you every step of the way. We love you. This kind of act of evil should never happen, and it happens far too often. The chief will provide additional details.
Again, he's 44 years old. Barack Obama's 44th president, and he's the 48th mayor. 48 means X. Now watch this.
My name is Brian O'Hara, BRIAN_OHARA. I am the Minneapolis Police Chief. Earlier today, just before 8:30 a.m., our city experienced an unthinkable tragedy. Minneapolis police officers responded to a report of a shooting at a mass that was happening at the Annunciation Roman Catholic Church on the block behind me. This worship service was marking the first week of school for children that are attending the Annunciation Catholic School. During the Mass, a gunman approached on the outside, on the side of the building, and began firing a rifle through the church windows towards the children sitting in the pews at the Mass. Shooting through the windows, he struck children and worshipers that were inside the building. The shooter was armed with a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. This was a deliberate act of violence against innocent children and other people worshiping. The sheer cruelty and cowardice of firing into a church full of children is absolutely incomprehensible.
Now you guys remember this. You remember this. I did a few videos on it. Now let's look into some history, because they had a little boy here.
This weekend, Minneapolis police raised the number of victims hit by gunfire from 20 to 21 after Weston's doctor gave his family this surprising news. Hours after the horrific shooting at Annunciation Catholic Church,
it was really scary.
10-year-old Weston Halsney, along with his grandpa and his dad, returned to the police tape to share how his life was saved.
My friend Victor saved me though, because he laid on top of me, but he got hit.
Your friend laid on top of you?
Yeah, and he got hit. He is really brave, and I hope he's good in the hospital.
That friend, Victor Greenewalt, is now recovering at home after 2.
Now, when you notice this here, little boy look like he's got an H like number 8, okay? And his name is Victor, like victory. Now, I've been asking, what in the blank is mass? Because this shooting was at 8 o'clock in the morning, give or take, in Minnesota. Dick Cheney would be laid to rest, and that's a mass cathedral. Okay? Now, check this out. Washington, D.C. became part of the United States July 16, 1790. Washington, D.C., that's where the cathedral is, where Dick Cheney will be laid to rest. May 11, 1858 is when Minnesota became part of the United States. Let's subtract them together. 7/16, 2025, 5/11, 2024. Minnesota versus DC, exactly 61 weeks and 4 days apart. 614, that's Trump. Is that coincidence? Now look, Washington National Cathedral, DC. This is the cathedral. Remember, September 29th, 35 years old, 35 like JFK. Now, where they had the shooting at, this was at Annunciation Church. I want to compare the two. Annunciation Church was founded on 9/8, on 9/8. Take 9/8/2025 versus 11/20/2025, Cheney's burial, and they're going to be at that church, cathedral. The difference is 216. Barack Obama was born August 4th, was the 216th day of the year. Now look, 9/29/1990, the cathedral where Dick Cheney would be laid to rest at, that's the actual date. 9/8/2022 is the cathedral, is the church where they had the shooting at in Minnesota. The difference is 31 years, 11/11. Remember I told you 11 is snake eyes, right? Snake eyes, the slit in the eye is like a 1. Now there's a portrait of Barack Obama back in the day, like in the Garden of Eden. Let's count the fingers. If that's a small finger up under there, that's 1. Then 4 regular fingers, that's 5. So where's the thumb? That'd be 6 fingers, right? And if you look at this real close, some people think that that hand is shaped like a snake, the eye and a mouth. What do you think? Now let's look at this. The date of this portrait was February 12th, 2018. Take February 12th, 2018 from 11/20/2025, the day Dick Cheney has the funeral. The difference is 7 years, 9/11. If you split it down the middle, 79, Trump is 79 years old, and there's your 11. I'm putting both these cathedrals together, people. What do you think? Then look, the mass shooting at the school was August 27th. Take August 27, 2025, 9/29/2025. That is the cathedral anniversary date where Dick Cheney's going to be laid to rest at. The difference is 46. What is 46? Joe Biden is the 46th president. Dick Cheney is the 46th vice president. Now look, this is the revenge factor. Look at his birthday. May 2nd, 2025, anniversary, 11/20, Dick Cheney laid to rest. Remember, Dick Cheney went after him back in the day, right? The difference is 6/24. 6/24 is I Pet Goat 2 because they made this on 6/24. Is that coincidence? Is it about revenge? Are they coming back at a mass, at a cathedral? Now, in I Pet Goat 2, they start dancing and celebrating. This reminds me of like New Orleans. Okay, he's dancing. All right, celebration, I believe, because the Antichrist is coming. And when you go here, see him still breakdancing, and all of a sudden you see that? Did you see that devil over the canal shake? Watch. Shakes. And then here comes the Antichrist. Okay? So now, when you go here and you see the Antichrist come out, you see nothing but petals. See the petals here? That's the lotus flower. Remember I taught you Carmela means lotus flower. Out of the lotus flower comes the sun god Ra. Okay? So there's a lotus flower. There's the Antichrist. Here comes Kamala. Lotus flower. Okay, it's all Egyptian history, okay? I know it's a lot, but hey, you guys been with me for a while, you know what I'm talking about. Then you go to this part here, watch this. There's a cathedral in the background. Here's the false Messiah with the rod, with the sun god and the eye of Horus. And the pyramid like. Watch. See this here? Cathedral, mass, like a mass cathedral. Do you see the cathedral like blows up? Okay? I'm putting it all together. It reminds me of this because in I Pet Goat 2, he came through a canal, did he not? When everything shook, the Antichrist came through a canal. See this? This is a canal, like a new birth, the new world order, the sun god, the golden age, you understand? So when you look at this here, canal, a birth. Barack Obama's on a pride boat coming through the canal. And look above, you got Hamas, see the headband, Hamas, shooting at Israel. Would that be the perfect time to strike a mass? I'm just asking. Look, because everything new is coming. Now, wait on that. To me, in my spirit, I felt turning point. Because I've been wondering, why did turning point all of a sudden peak? America could very well go through a transformation, a turning point, because the Antichrist is coming. Turning point, is it wordplay? June 5th. Take June 5th, 2026, next birthday, from 11/20, the burial date and funeral of Dick Cheney. The difference is 622. What happened on 622? On 621, we made a decision to strike Iran. On 622, we struck Iran. Look. Font, color font, I Pet Goat 2. George Bush, look at his fingers. I said, look at his fingers. Look at his fingers. Watch. You see him? You see him? Okay. Remember this? June 21st of 2025, Situation Room. They're in the Situation Room. You know who that is? Mr. Raising Cain. They made the decision to go after Iran. Okay, look at his hands. Look at George Bush. June 24, 2012, the animated short film, I Pet Goat 2. That's when it came out. June 24th, 2012. That's George Bush. Look, June 24th, 2012. June 21st, 2025, we went after Iran. We bombed them. The difference is 47-45. 12 years ago, 362 days ago, that's when they came out with this George Bush. And it comes down to 47-45, which is Trump. Is there revenge coming? I'm asking that. Now look at this here.
If you're a homeowner in Lincoln Park,
It was prophesied, so to speak, by former President Gerald R. Ford that we would have a female president. And the question was asked, watch this. He said it would happen through natural traditional circumstance. Watch.
What advice would you give a young lady wanting to become President of the United States?
Well, I hope we do have a young lady at some point become President of the United States. I can tell you how I think it will happen, because it won't happen in the normal course of events. Either the Republican or Democrat political party will nominate a man for president and a woman for vice president. And the woman and man will win. So you'll end up with a president, a male, and a vice president, a female. And in that term of office of the president will die.
Gerald Ford's birthday, July 14th. His death date, December 26th. July 14th, 2025 anniversary. 9/29 is the anniversary date of the cathedral where Dick Cheney will have his funeral. The difference is 2/16. August 4th is the 216th day of the year. That's Barack Obama. That's his birthday. 12/26, that is the death date of Gerald Ford, anniversary 2024. 11/20 is the date that they had the funeral for Dick Cheney. The difference is exactly 47 weeks. That's Trump. Is that coincidence? And last but not least, 7/14, Gerald Ford's birthday, anniversary. 11/20 is the funeral for Dick Cheney. The difference is 4/6. JFK, George Floyd, George Orwell, all died at 46. Dick Cheney was the 46th vice president, and Biden is the 46th president. What do you think? Is there revenge coming at a cathedral? I'm speaking without speaking. God bless.